we watch a lot of science and nature stuff. So it used to be, you could go to the Learning Channel, TLC, and see a lot of that stuff. We were watching something about cute little porpoises or chimpanzees or some damn thing, and that went off the air, and she went back to drawing and painting, and I went back to working on the computer, writing or something, and all of a sudden, Toddlers and Tiaras, is that the name of it? Toddlers and Tiaras? Came on, and we looked at it, and we watched it, and, we sat there, we couldn't kind of believe it. We were seeing these 4-year-old girls walking out like they're 24, and, walking to the pole to make their nightly cash, and then another one came on. It turned out to be a marathon, and about 5 into it, we realized that we're sitting watching this.
Yeah.
And so there is a certain amount of just prurient interest that is fired up watching this. You go, oh my God, how can people do that? And then you watch another one. It's frightening.
That's true, but then again, there's a point where you get tired of it because it's the same thing, just a different day.
I haven't watched it since, but for that afternoon,
exactly, and you don't watch it again.
Oh my God! No, I wouldn't. Yeah, it wouldn't cross my mind to watch it again.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Every single day there's a hole in my schedule of daytime TV. I really don't watch a lot of it anymore, as you well know, because of all my children and One Life to Live being gone. The only thing I watch now on ABC during the day would be General Hospital. What they did it will never be forgiven, and unfortunately, we're only down to four
can I talk about that
now.
for just a second? Can I talk about that? Because here's the deal. I understand that people were just very torn up about it. I get that, but. I was on that show a long time, and I worked in daytime for several years before I started on that show. I worked in daytime from like 2 or 3. I started working in soaps in New York.
Ryan's Hope, Another World.
Oh, Ryan's Hope, Another World. Before that, I think my first job was on Guiding Light. I actually played Vincent when he was playing Lou Jack on Guiding Light. I played his probation officer. I mean, we go back to the mid-'80s. But here's what happened. As the demographic changed, as women in particular, because it was a woman's medium, there's no doubt about that. As women went back into the workforce,
that's what happened.
There was nobody watching it in real time.
Right.
And if you're not watching it didn't count as you came home and watched it on TiVo or your VCR, because the advertisers knew, of course, that you fast-forwarded through the commercials. Of course you did.
Yeah.
You wouldn't. Why would you sit and watch those ridiculous things if you didn't need to? Well, they knew that. And so the rate card, which is what we got to charge for X amount of time and commercials, started to fall. And the budget, like everything else in this economy, went up. And all of a sudden, it became an untenable business model. Now, so a good company looks at that and says, well, we have to get out of this business. We have to get out of this business because the profit is no longer there. It's costing us money. They're too expensive to produce. Guess what? A smart business gets out of that business. I get that. Here's what ABC did wrong. There was a way to do it. We have this wonderful thing that we've just been talking about that we're talking on right now called the Internet.
Right.
If they had built an Internet presence by making episodes alternate endings, let's just say, that played only on the Internet, so that people of the older demographic, who were the most loyal watchers of all, they were empty nesters with expendable income, if they had been shown how to now go to the computer, which they all have, the email on it, and they maybe watch, what's the thing on YouTube occasionally, but if they had been instructed and shown how to go to watch an episode of All My Children, a special episode, if they had taken that summer, we owned that studio until January. We were done in August. Both myself and one of our directors pitched to ABC, why don't we do some movies of the week to kind of wrap it up.
Right.
Put that on the next summer for a summer replacement. You could have, and then supplement on the Internet. They could have done something else. They weren't very inventive. They weren't very creative or imaginative, and they just said, oh, no, we're out of business. Okay. However, notice SoapNet, which was supposed to go off the air a year ago, January.
Yep. But I still have it.
Now, a lot of cable carriers have dropped it, but it's still out there. And I still get the residual checks, and they still show the show, and they realize, I think now, wow, maybe we screwed up. And in fact, they did. There was another way to do it that would have been served those wonderful fans who were so loyal for so long and kept this genre, which is still the most popular genre in the world, alive for them. But they didn't. They were very short-sighted. And it's not that they didn't have people telling them this almost on a daily basis. They did.
Right.
But they knew better. Not well, names, but you know what I'm talking about.
and I think, Walt, that if ABC had taken the lead on that NBC and CBS would have followed, because they would have almost had to stay competitive and in the daytime drama market. And I think it would have been a brilliant idea, especially with the way the internet has just exploded. You know,
and the problem, Pam, was when what was the company that was going to take all my children to the internet? What was the name of the company?
Prospect Park
was going to take it there. Well, you know what? It would have been the first long form entertainment on the internet. There was no template. There was no precedent. We had union issues. We had a lot of things going on. But the biggest problem was they couldn't. There had been no education prior to that. They would have had to take months and months and months. And Kranowitz didn't have that kind of money to be able to take the months and months and months and months it would need to educate people on, okay, you subscribe, you go there, you can get your Blu-ray player and watch it right on your television.
Right,
it's really no different. And you can watch it when you want. You can watch it when you come home. You don't have to worry about taping it. You can watch it. And you can't fast forward through commercials on the internet.
No.
You have to watch them.
Yeah,
sometimes you can pick which one you watch. And I just think, if ABC had been a little more respectful of what they had there, then it would have been easier for Prospect Park to make that actually happen, to actually bring that project to fruition. But they couldn't. They couldn't. That would have been, if they had brought it, if we had started in January of last year, we would have been off the air already. I guarantee you that.
Yeah.
Especially in this time.
It's sad. It really is, because many people in this world, including myself, started watching soaps because my mother watched them, my aunt watched them, my grandmother watched them. So this is something that was always passed down to the next generation.
Multi-generational. Well, we have a writer. I knew the end was near. They hired a writer. They brought this guy, and again, there's no sense naming names. Most folks won't. Anyway, and he brought the actors into our little rehearsal space there, and he gave us a lecture, and he said, if I write something for your character to do you think your character would never do, just do it. Because I don't care about the history. I don't care about the legacy. It slows down my storytelling. And we looked at each other, don't care about the history. Don't care about the legacy. What genre do you think you're writing for?
Right.
Really.
History. It's all about legacy. Not only the stories on the show, but to your point, the people who watch the show.
Exactly.
It's all about history. It's all about legacy. And when they, and he was the head, fair-haired boy. He was gonna, we didn't need to reinvent the wheel. What we needed was 4 great all-terrain tires for the rough road ahead. But so there were 2 very huge, and that costed tons of viewers. I mean, when I got the script that I was going to be dating Erica's maid, Carmen, fresh out of prison, I thought, well, this could be an interesting story. But I went to the producers. I said, but we're going to have a journey with this, right? It's not going to, we're going to have a journey. Okay, well, then fine. 2 scripts later, I'm sleeping with her in the house I built for Erica. She comes down in my shirt. Erica shows up at the front door, which is all glass. Who the hell has an all-glass front door? And And I mean, it was just, and of course, none of us knew how to play the scene because it was so far afield from anything any one of our characters would have done.
And we were throwing tomatoes at the TV at the same time, so.
And I was saying, look, this is going to kill us. This kind of stuff is going to kill us. And when my contract was up, they fired me. Then they fired him, and they brought me back. So it was just, but that kind of mistake is very difficult to recover from. People felt that the powers that be didn't respect the show, and therefore didn't respect them, the viewers. And that's a tough thing to recover from. It really is.
Yes. Well, you were on there as Jackson Montgomery for, was it 25 years, I read?
Not quite 25. Not 24 and
almost.
3/4. Not quite, almost 25 years. Almost 25. Let's just say a quarter of a century. It sounds so wonderful.
What would you say is your favorite storyline that you did on there? And that's a lot of storylines you've done.
That we take down in Florida. I thought the wedding when we finally got married, although it lasted 6 months because they don't know what to do with a married couple, which was just ridiculous. I mean, we're both, Susan and I pitched to them, write it like the Thin Man, write it like Nick and Nora. I mean, it could be so much fun, and she does comedy so well. I'm pretty good at comedy. It would have been wonderful, but they just, they couldn't get out of their own way to write this. They just couldn't. Again, they're just very narrow-minded about what people wanted to see. People want to see stuff that's entertaining. They don't have a preconceived idea, we won't watch that. No, they won't watch it if it doesn't make sense. They won't watch it if it isn't true to the characters. And they won't watch it if it's stupid. They'll watch anything else.
Right. Yeah.
But they just couldn't seem to get that through their thick skulls. So.
Yeah. Something like that.
Well, the whole premise of watching daytime drama is, I remember many, many years ago, is that cliffhanger Friday. You don't know what's going to happen next. And that's what keeps the viewers tuned in is the suspense and the thrill of how that storyline is going to unfold, And, I think in some respects.
Of course. And you know how many people have asked me, who did JR shoot? Who did JR shoot?
Yeah.
And that's unfinished business. I'll tell you who I think JR shot, if you want to know, and then we can go around the horn here. I think JR shot himself. I think JR looked, and I'll tell you why. I think he looked in that room, all those happy people with their complete lives, and his misery, and plus, and this is really why I think it could very well be what Agnes may have had in mind. That is exactly the kind of story that Agnes Nixon loved to tell.
Exactly.
How something like that reverberates through a small, close-knit town like Pine Valley was. And I think it would have been a great story. A great story. But that's who I think that's why I think JR shot. Not who shot JR, who did JR shoot. That's who I think he shot, for what it's worth.
It makes full sense. It really makes full sense. For anybody that watched it for any amount of time, that would make sense because he was always, getting himself in so much trouble and digging a hole, and this is a hole he felt he probably couldn't ever get out of. And like you said, everybody else was standing there all happy. So he's like, that's it. So I could see that happening. And I have to say, right before you said that he probably shot himself, Dom in the chat room said the same thing.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think, and I think people would have loved, they wouldn't have loved to see JR go, but I think they would have loved to have seen, that story played out. You can always bring people back from the dead. You have to cut off their heads and stuff them with garlic for them to actually be dead. You know how you bring them back from the dead,
It's a soap opera,
Of course.
Yeah. I mean, Katie McLean, she died from poison pancakes, and I saw her back.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
Well, what do you miss the most about the show?
What do I miss about the show?
Mhm.
What do you miss the most?
What do you miss the most?
Well, honestly, I miss a few of the actors who became very good friends. I think any actor who's had the great good fortune to work so steadily for so long. We were kind of the blue collar actors. We got up and went to work almost every day, You know, many actors, they work a project, they might work out, 16 weeks, and then they're done until the next film, whatever. The film might not